the whole damn verse, spinning around you with open arms. It's a race against time that plunges you deep into the black. What are you gonna do when the void stares back? You'll never stop the revolution. Time to begin your evolution. Take a leap of faith. You gotta break the illusion. You gotta make your own solution. Take a leap of faith. The future's just a void, jump away.
Greetings, humanity. Greetings, one and all, and welcome once more to Channel Otherdoc. I am Jim. I use he/him pronouns, and this is our Dark Matter campaign, Ghosts of Saltmaw. I am playing Cole Hayden, Human Gunslinger, and we're going to go ahead and go around and see who everyone else is and who they're playing. And we shall start once more with Anino. Hello.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Anino, and I use he/him pronouns. Today I am playing Rekmara, the Aviara Druid.
Awesome. And now let us go on to Cazimi. Hello.
Yep, of course, I switch immediately to mute. I'm Cazimi. I go with she, her pronouns. And tonight I'm playing Klangswell Nuna Fritz Holdsbottom, Thunderstruck, they, their pronouns, who is a space gnome.
Delightful. And now let us head on to May. Hello.
Hi everybody, my name is May. I'm playing Lasness. We both use she, her pronouns.
And now over to Mem. Hello.
Hi, I'm Mini Migraine Mem, unfortunately. I use she, her pronouns, and I will be Narita Galeen, the Valid Witch.
Okay. All right, cool. And finally, let us hand things over to our illustrious station master, Alyssa. Hello.
Everybody, thanks for watching, and thank you for playing. As with all the games on this channel, we'll be using the safety tools X card, N card, and the O card. So if ever we are in territory that's crossing a line with the subject matter and that's not okay to have in the game, just my players will type an X in the Zoom chat, give me an X symbol, we'll stop there, change the subject, a little bit of retcon, and it never happened. If we're kind of towing that line and it's okay to have it in the game, but we don't want a graphic description, that's where the N comes into play, we'll cut to black, change the subject, put it behind the veil, and move on. And if at any point you're really getting into the drama and the action and I'm not sure if you're doing okay, I may type an O with a question mark, and if it's all good and you're just giving an Oscar-worthy performance, just go ahead and type a big O in response, and if not, feel free to respond accordingly, and we will adjust as needed. We're gonna take a break about halfway through, but if you need to call for a break any sooner, let me know, and we'll play it by ear. So, previously on Ghosts of Saltmaw, after gleaning as much information as they could from the Sahuagin prisoner, the party jumped back to Saltmaw to confront the Lakshayan Council. Well, Fritz played out a projection of the impending disaster that could sweep the galaxy if the Sahuagin were to inadvertently unleash a sphere of annihilation, or perhaps worse yet, a wandering rift. Cole called for veteran council member to right the wrongs done during Lexay's occupation of Chiron. Feeling pressure from both the merchants and the Spacers representatives, as well as the Miners Guild, the former soldier Eleander Fireborn agreed to pull some strings, diverting a light cruiser Akma from its course to the Orc War Zone to instead join the Space Coast at Chiron. Jumping back to the planet where they swore they'd never go again, the party landed on the beach near the Sahuagin-occupied fortress, and it became apparent that Fritz was bound and determined to repair the Sahuagin's damaged world ship, even if it meant splitting the party. While Lathnus was determined to get to the bottom of the fortress and prevent the Sahuagin priestesses from upsetting the balance of the universe. For better or for worse, Fritz was able to get a ping on the void crystal that had once powered the Sahuagin's dark matter drive, which had since been removed from the wreckage, and once again, the party had a common goal. When we left off, Lathnus had just announced the party's presence at the front door, or at least the above sea level door.
Front is relative in this case.
Yes, it was the dry door on the beach, and you were about to attempt to either barter or bash your way in. How do you wish to proceed?
I think we know how Lasness would like to proceed.
I think we told them to open the to open up because we've got we're
Yes,
negotiating aggressively, and we have guns trained on them from the sky. So
You do indeed.
Hello, do you have a minute to talk
So-
about your salvation?
All right. So there is a small window in the door that opens up, and you can see an eye peering out. So go ahead and make a persuasion check. They are home. They know you are here.
A 5.
A 5.
I should have just tried to sell Space Scout cookies.
The eye in the door looks around and then looks down.
They missed the whole thing because they couldn't see.
Yep.
Yes, it is somewhat higher than Lasnus's eye level, unfortunately.
Lasness huffs a very impatient sigh and turns to Cole. Can you handle this?
yeah, sure. I take out the gun. I take out my gun. I just sort of pointed at the just sort of at the eye hole a little bit, and I say, "You do not want us to do this the hard way. We need to. You really want us to do this the easy way, don't you?" And I just sort of glance back over my shoulder. That thing is going to. No. We're here now. Believe it or not, we're here to save your lives. But if you're not willing to have your lives saved, we're gonna have to end them, because what you're doing is gonna cause way more destruction. You
And in
got
the
it.
name of the verse, I can't let that happen.
All right, Cole, go ahead and roll to intimidate.
Okay. Let's see. Dice. This game uses dice, right?
Yes.
Okay. I have a few intimidation.
You have
Ah.
dice?
One or two. Okay, that would be a 10.
The little window slams shut. And you think for a moment that perhaps you may have to do things the hard way. And just at the moment when you feel like Lasness is about to swing her rocket hammer towards the door, it opens. And you see 6 Sahuagin inside a sort of a long, narrow chamber. 3 on each side. And then a 7th one comes out from a door at the far end of the room and marches to the front, and they all sort of fall in boy band formation behind their champion.
Oh, I hope they're snapping their fingers like in West Side Story.
It's gonna be hard to snap webbed fingers, can't it? Is it difficult? I don't know.
I think it would be easier.
I think it would make
maybe.
a better snap.
Good.
Imponderables.
Hi. We're here to help. And we're not taking no for an answer.
So I've heard.
So, how would you like to hear about the help that we're going to give?
Well, you've made it through the door, haven't you?
Okay, so shall we get going then?
I suppose you'll want to see the Baroness.
That'd be a good idea.
Yes. Are we following, out of character, are we following a traditional royal set where barons are kind of low on the list? I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
That's a good question. It might, well,
Drop Marauder.
why don't you roll a history check to see how much you know about the Sahuagin?
Sure. The shock, I don't have any proficiency in history, but I got a 15.
You think probably it's Baron and Baroness is not necessarily the highest rank, but they have been trapped on this island. They crash landed. There's brain worms. Stuff has happened. You're not sure if the Baroness is the highest ranking member here or if they're giving you the runaround.
All right, listen, guys. Let me put it this way. Take me to your leader.
Or as a side to Narita is just going to say, the diplomacy is working well.
Rita looks over and says, "We're doing a great job."
Drop Marauder again.
Yeah, I think we're going to die.
No matter how this ends, yes.
Fritz pipes up between the two and says, if it gets really bad, I'll just do my PowerPoint presentation again.
It was
Surprise,
It
very
how we started.
effective.
I'd love to help you, but it's not my call.
So, are you taking us to someone that can?
He just sort of turns around and walks back down the way he came, and sort of expects you'd follow him.
Rude. And she follows along.
Out of character question, do they speak any other languages?
What were they speaking at us just now? That's a good
They
question.
were speaking common,
Common,
at you
probably,
just
yeah.
now.
Okay.
They do, yes. They have their own dialect, but they also speak Aquan.
Okay.
Which, Narita, you would know because the prisoner Mako was sort of snarking at you in Aquan at one point, but you have the whole universal translator, but you can probably still tell by his lip flaps.
Those lip flaps.
That guild positioning?
Gives them away.
But she speaks Aquan too. So.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. You'd recognize your own language, even if it was being translated.
Gotcha.
So, the Sawagan champion leads you through the formation of underlings. They all have scales of a sort of reddish color, except for him.
Is that something very important to note?
Is there something wrong with them?
I don't know. Last time you met somebody who had a red suit on,
Yep.
I miss
it
him.
was significant. He's more of a blue-green shade. And so he leads you into the next room. All of the rooms here are kind of just bare or Spartan furnishing.
Ooh, a
He
bear
goes up to the
Spartan?
gate at the at the far end of the room, and says something to the guards on the other side, and they open the gate to let you all through. So the gate opens up into a slightly larger room with corridors leading off to the left and the right, and then another another hallway at the far end of the room. And he basically just leads you down the hall, and he's going to take you to meet with the Baron and Baroness. Unless you decide to break off and stop following him. So
Actually, Fritz has probably been toward the back and side of this group the whole way. And if there's an opportune moment to sort of step back and fade out, not necessarily to go off in a different direction, but just to be able to watch the group from a distance, but not be like in the main passel of people. Passel, there you go.
Okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Ooh, 18.
All right. So you were able to sort of fall back and observe, and it does not seem as if the champion has noticed.
So, why are you called the champion?
Because I bested the previous champion.
Neat.
Previous champion dead.
What did you?
I'm just wondering because maybe Lasna should challenge you for the championship, and
Oh, what does a champion have to do?
Wouldn't understand.
Come on, we haven't even
I'm
been
just
here.
thinking that it would speed up things if we just became a part of the honored positions in this quote unquote kingdom.
You want? Is that a challenge, Birdman?
Oh God.
Neat, it's a challenge on my behalf. Don't I have a say?
We only just got here, for God's sake.
Well, we just got here. We're already challenging their top brass.
Narita decides to kind of take this moment to enact some diplomacy. We're mostly just interested in your customs and not actually in participating in them. And then looks at Lasnus.
Well, if things go well and you don't piss off the Baroness, maybe you'll get to see some of the gladiatorial entertainment.
I would love to see that. I really can't wait. I would strongly recommend we do that anywhere but here.
Well, you should at least see the arena before you leave.
Perhaps we can see it as we leave.
As we're running on the way out, and that's our Coliseum.
Can we see it from the sky?
Only
Point
if
us
you
in the
have
general
sonar.
Right, just a general direction. It's over there.
I think Fritz can rig up a sonar.
So he leads you through several rooms. Most of them are on this top level are kind of empty. There's a sort of handful of people going around, but it looks like maybe they were doing some construction but abandoned it when things came up. And so, so really there's just, not much going on the top level. He leads you down some long winding corridors and takes you to a room that again looks like it was partially under construction but has since been abandoned. But then there is a stairs going down, and you can tell by the floors in this room are slightly wet and slimy and have like algae growing along the tiles. It's like nicely constructed, and there's like mosaics of colored stone on the walls and nicely decorated, but like there's just like algae growing on the tiles and stuff. So everything below this area is going to be underwater, but you're all wearing your life suits at this point, so you shouldn't have an issue following him down.
I'm just
So
glad my hair won't get wet.
as I scroll to the next map, so he will bring you downstairs, and you can again. He leads you through some winding corridors, and then it feels like you start heading back in, like on the lower level, back in the northern direction that you came from. So now you're kind of almost below that entry area that you first came in.
When we go underwater, will there always be light so that way we can see even if it gets deep?
There aren't really a lot of light sources. There might be like some like bioluminescent like algae growing on the walls, but otherwise it's mostly dark. You gather they don't need light.
Okay.
So if you have some other light source with you,
How would the water... is the water going to affect our gear, or is it assumed that we knew we were coming to a wet place and we have, like, packed appropriately?
Yeah.
Headlamps and what have you.
Yeah. You can assume that you have planned accordingly, because you were advised that the fortress was mostly sunk.
Yeah. Cool. Good.
Your blasters function in space. They should still function underwater as well.
One.
It just does.
It's magic. All right, so yeah, we got like flashlights.
It's not like you have to worry about keeping your gunpowder dry or anything.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, that would be a problem.
That would be a problem. So this level is mostly living quarters and barracks. So
Are we going the long way or the extra long way to get to the Baroness?
Are you asking this out of character or in character?
I want to say it in character, but I want to say it as politely as possible for once.
Sort of half to herself, but not really.
Yes, but kind of hoping that it gets overheard over the comms.
Okay, so your party hears you. The Sifwagan is not necessarily on the same channel as you and the rest of the party. So if he notices you talking,
He just sees my weird lip gill things flapping, doesn't he?
he does sort of like check over his shoulder to make sure you're still following. So if you would like to make an insight check.
14?
You're definitely going the long way. But there isn't necessarily a shorter way. It's kind of a big, sprawling structure. He's not in a particular hurry. But Narita, as you are following the group and feeling a sort of a little bit of a headache coming on, you start also getting a sense of deja vu, as if you have seen these corridors before. But you're not sure why, because you've definitely never been here before.
Are they going the right way? Like, is she getting the sense that maybe they're not actually heading in the right direction?
You don't think you're necessarily going in the wrong direction, but you're not sure if, like, you sort of feel like you're getting there in a sort of roundabout way. And you also feel like it's just a sort of a presence in the back of your mind.
Okay. As we're swimming along, just kind of looking around, thinking that maybe
it's almost like somebody's watching you.
Oh.
From a distance, but you can't really see anybody.
So she's just kind of wondering if maybe I don't know how much there is to see, but if that layout is very similar to maybe somewhere else she's been, if they've copied it. But then she kind of speaks directly to the champion and says, perhaps there's a more direct route we can take. This seems as if we'll get there, but maybe we'll get there a little later than we'd like. We're in a bit of a rush.
He sort of glances over his shoulder. And he just says, would you prefer to lead the way?
Listen, we're here to help. We're just very nervous, and we should probably pick up the pace a bit and, swim faster.
You have people that might be about to open up a sphere of annihilation, according to what we've heard. So we'd really rather that not happen.
Like I said, it's above my pay grade, buddy.
Compensation for champions must really suck here.
I think that a champion pay grade would be pretty high.
Apparently not if he has to toy with outsiders.
They pay you enough to stand here and get vaporized if this goes down?
What makes you think that's going to happen anyway?
I just sort of turn and I'm, for the first time now, I'm sort of looking around. Is Fritz still with us, or am I?
You can't see Fritz.
I just sort of turn around and I'm like...
Make a perception check.
It's like I'm in the middle. Okay, well, yeah, let me make the perception check before I react. Perception. Ooh, I rolled strangely high. I got a total of 20.
Nice.
It was an unnatural, filthy 20, but a 20 nonetheless.
Filthy.
All right. Fritz, are you trying to avoid being seen by your party member who's obviously looking for you now?
So I've still been able to listen to comms, right?
Yes.
Okay. I know that they're not in trouble, and they're not looking for me to come, like, gauntlets blazing or anything like this. So, yes, I'm going to try to continue to stay out of sight, even from Cole.
Okay.
So this is one. So I assume I do not see Fritz.
You do not currently see Fritz.
Okay. So what I'm sort of in the middle of saying is when the champion says, "Why do you think it's going to happen?" I say, "Believe me, pal, we've got a whole presentation lined up to explain." Hey. And I'm just sort of looking around.
What's the holdup? I thought you were the impatient ones.
Yeah, we're keep moving. And I'm going to switch comms to the private channel. Fritz, you still around?
Of course I'm still around.
Thought they'd grabbed you or something.
Somebody's got to watch your back.
Okay.
That's speciesist. Sorry. I'm putting an X on myself. That was terrible.
All right.
I mean, it's very tense here.
Narita decides to try a different tactic with our wonderful champion.
They sent a warrior to their door.
Perhaps you seem like a very busy person. Awkward, human, not human person. Swagan, their sword.
Swagan are people too.
I don't know what the right word is.
Not human.
It'll translate.
You seem like a fine fish.
Like a fine... You're a fine thing. Obviously, you were quite busy.
We call ourselves aquanoids.
Perhaps you could get us to the person who would be able to help us slightly more, so you can get back to whatever it was you were doing before this, because obviously you have better things to do than to escort us.
I'd recommend packing.
Powers of diplomacy are strong.
Going where?
Go diplomancy.
You know what? let's just go. And he moves on, maybe a little bit faster out of irritation.
Out of character, this is like every single time I go to any buffet.
You're greeted by a fish person?
No one. I get
And then
kicked
she's
out.
irritating. She's irritating enough to move everybody along. So
You don't know what to say, so you just keep saying things until people are like, all right.
Yeah.
It cuts the wait time down.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that did happen last time I was at a buffet, and they eventually had to let me fight their champion so that I could get to the front of the line. That's important.
and now you're the champion of the buffet. Now I get it.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, I don't know. No, I lost. Their champion's really good. Golden Corral's dangerous. That's all I'm just saying.
So finally he turns right down another corridor that opens up into a long room. There is off this hallway to the right hand side. There is a small room that's just unfinished stone instead of like the decorated walls, and there's just seaweed growing up in the room and anemones and starfish, and there's a large lobster-like creature crawling over the rocky surface of the floor, but the champion doesn't seem to pause. He just keeps going, and instead leads you on through into the long and narrow banquet hall. This hall has a black tiled floor, and the walls are bright coral pinkish orange, and the ceiling is white. And there are black tiled pillars spaced regularly in a line to the just sort of just to like the left hand side of where the door opens, and continuing on across the room towards where there would be another door to the exiting hallway, and there are long tables with benches on either side to the north of the pillars. And about midpoint of the north wall, an archway opens up into another passage, and the archway is decorated with elegant black and gold designs evocative of waves and monstrous sea creatures. So it looks like you're finally getting to somewhere of importance. So he starts to cut through across the banquet hall towards that archway. He just says, the throne room's just through here.
Are you not going to introduce us?
Of course.
He's
I
still
just
walking ahead.
thought
right?
you'd want to know we're here.
Oh, it seemed like he was going to be like, there you go.
Thank you.
If you need a moment to compose yourselves. I know it was a long swim.
Lasness cheated for most of it. She used jet propulsion. She's not built for swimming. So
Rita takes a slight bit of offense. Slight.
that's fair. It was meant to be insulting.
How dare you, sir?
He might have given you a pointed glance.
Oh no. Oh, it's on now.
He's like mumbles on the internal comms. If these knockoff Nautilus can't really swim, it's all right.
All right. All right. We're gonna.
All right. So, there is a short corridor beyond this archway, and then it opens up into, and there's another matching archway at the end of the short hall. It's about 10 feet, as opposed to the long, winding, twisty, turny ones that you've just swum through. It opens up into a larger area, a little bit wider than the dining hall, but not quite as long. Here the floor is tiled indigo and the walls are dark blue. On the north side, a massive, ornately carved throne rises from a pale blue dais. Pale blue marbled pillars stand to the east and the west, and the dais is of the same pale blue marble, where the throne is made of black coral and the ceiling is again tiled in pale blue. On the throne sits a large Sahuagin with 4 arms. In his right upper hand he holds a large trident. In his 2 lower hands he grips the arms of his throne, and floating next to the throne on the creature's right hand side is an adult female Sahuagin holding a long staff tipped with a jumble of shark jaws and teeth. And in front of the throne and at the foot of the dais, 3 adult Sahuagin float with their backs to you. The two float with their bodies held rigid, while the third is pleading before the throne. As the champion makes his way inside, he pauses because obviously the Baron is in the middle of something. Narita, given that you speak Aquan, you can make out that the Baron, the Sahuagin speaking to the Baron, is complaining about offensive remarks made by another Sahuagin. The plaintiff wants the Baron to punish the offender. The Baron seems to be growing impatient with his pettiness and is close to feeding all parties involved to something called the Maw of Sepula.
On the internal comms, Narita kind of like tells everyone, there's, some petty business between some of these Sahuagin, but what is the Maw of Sepula?
Is that something that Lastness might know?
Make a religion check.
$17?
You have perhaps, because you were all doing some research about Sahuagin on the Amoeboid databases, and you have probably read or heard mention of the Maw of Sekolah as being the avatar of the Sahuagin deity.
When they say the Maw of Secula, do they mean any Maw that's in, like, do they, like, worship any Maw that's in this quadrant of the verse?
In the database, it was depicted as a two-headed shark creature, but you're not sure if that was like a literal representation or a figurative representation.
Or if moss here simply was mouth as opposed to maw, as in the kind of jumping maw we're talking
Right.
True.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Whereas knowing the way the mythology works, it
It's all the
probably
same
could have.
thing.
Yeah, it could have crossed. There's been a certain amount of crossover at some point.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure they weren't, like, conflating them specifically in the story. That's all.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Did we bring? What's his name? Mako?
Did you bring Mako?
Because I think we wanted to bring Mako. I believe I'm having a
thought
little
we
trouble
did.
remembering exactly what we did.
I think we did.
I think your
so.
part of the party did, because I know that Fritz took off away from you guys. So
Yeah.
unless you specifically ditched him, he would have been along.
Yeah. But what I'm wondering is, did we bring him down here? Because this, I think he was supposed to come with us to help kind of make our case.
Yeah.
For, like saving his civilization. But
Yeah,
I'm not
I think,
sure.
I think we can assume he's here.
Okay. All right.
He's just being moody and sullen as usual.
Yeah. Has he reacted at all? Has he had any reactions at all to being here that would seem I don't want to say out of place per se, but did he look like he was dreading going into the throne room, or did he look like he was eager to go into the throne room? That kind of thing.
He's not, I wouldn't say eager, but he doesn't look like he's dreading it either. He looks more, I would say more determined, purposeful.
Okay.
He's got to do what he's got to do.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead and make an insight check to see if you can get any more of a bead on him.
Ooh. Helps if the die stays in the tray.
It does.
Insight. That is a 19 total.
Nice.
My cop senses are tingling.
They are, indeed.
Hmm.
You catch sort of a similar look on his face when the Maw of Sekolah is mentioned, as you may have seen on Rekamara's face when the sun above is mentioned. Rekamara, you definitely notice a slight rolling of the fishy eyeballs.
I need a little bit of help reminding me what the sun above is.
It's the Avia Ra's deity that Rekamara has abandoned.
Aha, okay. Gotcha.
He's looking for another participant in the Apostates Unite organization. So
so he's not a huge fan of whatever is going on in the leadership, apparently.
Okay. All right.
Which may be why you were able to get so much information out of him in the first place.
Ah, yes. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just sort of hanging. I'm just waiting for this business to finish so that we can freaking try to get this done.
Yeah, Lasness is tapping her foot against the water impatiently. It doesn't actually mean anything, but she's still doing it.
How are you getting that tapping sound out of the water? Very strange.
little shock waves coming from Lasness.
Fritz is going to hang out behind one of these pillars here, somewhere along the line. Get a good visibility.
Yeah, there is kind of a statue right in the middle of the dining hall along the southern wall, and you could sort of duck into that alcove and have a clear view through into the throne room.
That would be excellent, especially if there were any way to like climb up the back of the statue too, get a little bit of height.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Glad to do that. Just please tell me that it's not a statue of a two-headed shark.
It is not.
Okay,
No.
Just checking.
What it is a 7-foot statue of a carved stone head. It used to be vaguely lizard folk in features, but it has been defaced a bit.
Got it.
So, the champion will sort of step through and make his presence known and announce that that there are visitors who would like to have a word with the Baron. And the Baron gestures for the two guards to drag the complaining Sahuagin away to be dealt with later. And then the champion gestures for you to enter and presents you to Baron Kepmac.
The what?
Baron Kepmac.
Kepmac.
And High Priestess Thadra.
High Priestess Phaedra?
Thadra? Now I'm confused because of...
Thadra.
There you go. Thank you. Thad.
Ah, yes.
Does it matter? Wait, this is not a character question. Does it matter if we speak to them in common, or would they prefer Aquan?
It probably won't matter.
Okay.
But I think we're going to go ahead and take our break, and then you can commence your negotiations with the Baron when we come back.
Negotiations, yes. Good. Awesome. All right, folks, we will be back in but a few minutes. See you shortly. Welcome to the break, folks. I have with me today Kiana and Lauren here from Salty Sweet Games. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having us.
Yay!
We just wanted to talk for a little bit about some of the awesome stuff that you folks do and have been doing. And I think the first thing I wanted to find out about is how each of you kind of got into the whole streaming thing and when it came across your radar and how you then decided to do it. And whoever would like to go first may do so.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So I think it was maybe 2016 or 17. I actually can't remember now, which is really funny. But I was on Tumblr back in the day, and I came across fan art and fan fiction about this game that was going on. And I was like, a game? You make fan fiction about a game? And so it was actually a D&D stream. So I tuned in and started watching, binged the crap out of it. It was over a summer, and I was just blown away. I had never been exposed to RPGs before that. And so I got on my Twitter, which also had been gathering dust, basically. And I started following a bunch of streams, their Twitter accounts and other geeky gaming people. And I was reached out to as like, hey, we accept new players, people new to streaming. If you're interested, like, we have a spot for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. Oh, wow, these people here are so friendly. It's so different from the other communities that I used to be part of. And that was my start. It was just somebody offering a hand, which is, I think, a spirit that we try to keep in mind as we've gone forward. So that's how I got into it.
Cool.
Yeah. I was actually pretty similar. So a YouTuber I really liked started talking about a D&D game they were in, actually on the official Wizards channel. And I was like, what's D&D? Huh? So I went and followed them over there and started watching. And I was kind of just like, oh, this is exactly what I want. This is what I want in my life. I think this was first year of university, so I was kind of going through a minor existential creative crisis, having moved away from home, moved away into a totally different place and in a different point in my life. And so I watched that show for months and months, and then and started using my Twitter, which I had only used to do really weird tweets. You could probably find them. I wouldn't recommend, but you could probably find them.
Going to start searching right now.
And I got followed by a stream, and I went to go check them out. And it happened to be the stream that Lauren was on, actually. And so I started watching, and I got hooked, and I would watch the shows every day, even secretly at work when I wasn't supposed to. And then this channel had open viewer games. So I got up the courage about half a year after I started watching and signed up for it. And then I got in and did my first game streamed. So I think that would have been my third game ever, because I had one game that I tried to play in and had to nope out of. I ran a home game for a year, and then I jumped into streaming. So been baked in right at the beginning.
That's awesome. So how did we? So how did the transition go then from playing in these different streams to then actually actively streaming yourselves and such?
that was very much about, I think, wanting to be in charge of our own destinies in a way, because both of us have had experience working for other streamers, like on different kinds of teams, whether it's social media or production or community management, all sorts of things. And we decided that kind of the best way to get out the content that we wanted was for us to be in charge. So we kind of crash coursed through everything. Like Kiana learned how to make overlays, and I learned, the broadcasting software, and we kind of taught each other different things, sought out our friends' advice on it, and just dived in.
Yeah. I mean, like, we've had some really, really good experiences with the other communities we've been with, and also some negative stuff too. And like, it's so hard sometimes to just have that bit of like safe space for yourself, and creating that safe space, and be able to do whatever the hell you want. So that was really kind of, we're like, one day we were like, let's make a channel together. We'll just have it as a placeholder until we want to really go gung-ho on it. So it's technically, Salty Sweet Games has existed for like, I'm gonna say almost a year. Like, we put it together like almost a year ago. But we didn't really start using it until like late 2019, when we did some video game streams and stuff, and some one-shots. We did a charity stream, and it's really just been the beginning of 2020 that we started to really kind of go into long-term production of actual tabletop content, and actually have a YouTube channel that we put stuff on, because we didn't do that for a while. So it's been kind of just, both of us are people who, when we get going on something, we get going.
Yep, absolutely.
That was awesome. And I think I remember seeing one of those early streams. I think it was Monster Prom, if I remember right. And that was just such an utter delight, just sort of watching that. And it was like, you definitely have something there. Definitely need to keep following that. Awesome. Well, if folks want to find your stuff online, where should they go?
Twitter.com/saltysweetgames and twitch.tv/saltysweetgames.
Yeah. We're both there. Obviously, there's shared stuff, and then you can find us individually, where we also just retweet our stuff from Salty Sweet Game. It's just a lot of back and forth on all three accounts.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, folks, definitely go and check that out. In the meantime, I'm going to throw things back over to me, probably. Either that, or if we're still running around panicking in the background, it'll be a nice moving image over whatever it is that we're doing right now. But in the meantime, folks, take care. We'll see you later. we have returned. We are talking to the fish people. Won't you join us?
So, you enter the throne room and you notice there are 2 sharks crusted with shell armor swimming just leisurely above the throne near the ceiling.
Lassness is following their patrol with her eyes, and she's starting to get a little dizzy. Has the Baron deigned to notice us?
Yes, he has watched the 2 guards drag off the complainant and has now turned his attention to you.
Lassness looks behind at everybody like, I'm gonna take point, right? Okay. Lassness Chain Tower of the Star Scouts.
I am Baron Kepmac of the worship Dagobah.
We've come here to help you guys.
Help us with what?
Not dying.
I don't seem to recall asking for help.
That's the wonderful thing about help. Sometimes it just shows up even when you don't even realize you needed it. And that's why we're here, because you're about to get destroyed by brainworms. So we're evacuating the planet.
Do you know something that I don't?
Yeah, that brainworms are bad.
We are aware.
Oh, good. Then you'll be coming with us then.
Why should we go with you and not evacuate by our own means?
Oh, you mean by making your own maw, right?
Naturally.
Yeah. No, I'm going to put a hard stop on that.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really good idea not to. I went to too many years of Star Scout school to, just not really like super knowledgeable about Moz, but I do know that this is like cataclysmic what you're doing, and it's a really bad idea. So let's get going.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm assuming this isn't with an advantage, because... All right. 17.
17.
They might be convinced that you're sincere, but...
Supposing I don't have you fed to the maw, because it amuses me to hear you out. Why should I go with you and not with a god?
Oh, because, you're totally wrong, and it's totally against everything in the verse, especially for like everything that I stand for. So you're gonna come with us, and we're gonna get you off world, and then we're gonna destroy these things. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna update the Spacepedia page about it, about how they get destroyed. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna have a bit of mini thing. It's gonna be awesome. And then you guys can go wherever you want.
You think you and your motley crew of aliens are more powerful than the gods?
Lasness looks up and behind her at everybody and goes, I don't know, Motley's kind of mean to call them. And they're all, like, preeminent in their field. I mean, I'm pretty sure of that. Fritz really knows what she's talking about. What was the question?
Your lordship.
Thank you!
Dear Baron, we are sorry.
Yeah.
You,
He finally.
he looks at the Sawagan. You bring these outsiders here?
Your lordship, I would assume you have a very deep understanding of the idea that if you are that no one calls on the powers of gods lightly, and must always do so with extreme care. The trouble is that from what we've been given to understand, I say looking over at Mako, from your subject, the power of these deities that you are calling on is going to cause irreparable damage throughout the sector and cost many lives. Now, that can be avoided. In addition to probably, and quite possibly your own, if this doesn't go as planned. And when dealing with gods, I'm sure you realize they have their own plans. We, on the other hand, this motley crew you see before you, have a gunship, which we can use either to safely transport you off of this rock with its brainworms, or we can use it to end your conversation with your gods rather immediately by moving you right into proximity with them. My thought is that the deal we're offering you is probably considerably better for your people. What do you think?
We mean this with all respect.
I started with your lordship.
You did.
He called our crew motley.
Did I mention Cole's not great at being diplomatic? He's mostly just great. He's great at being intimidating and diplomatic.
Would Cole like to make another charisma check of some kind?
Can I use intimidation?
Certainly, you did say we have a gunship.
Yeah, that's fair.
Lassus thinks you did a great job.
Well, here we go. Oh, that's not good. So that came out to a 9.
have a gunship. How much room do you have in this gunship?
Jim has forgotten the population number.
It's 3,500.
I think the answer is enough.
It was like it was a thing where it was like we were going to be able to get most of their
Yes.
most of their people was. It was like
Yeah.
was the capacity 3,500 thereabouts?
It was close to that.
Okay. We can transport.
I think we were
well over
also
three-
we were also assuming some attrition on their part from the initial 3,500. So
Yeah. Well, we can transport well over 3,000. The first trip alone.
And we wouldn't have to wait on some ritual to be completed. He says, eyeing the high priestess.
Right. You could take the God's will completely out of the equation, sort of, and just get on a ship. And then it's your will instead.
Who's to say this isn't God's will? Maybe we're God sent.
Right. We were sent here by your deities to help you faster than this mob business.
We'd be immediately. What's the name of that next mall over that we were going to take them to? I can't remember.
the next maw over.
The next one.
You came from Saltmaw, maybe it's Sweet Maw.
I hate going to Sour Maw.
Umame ma.
Great minds think alike.
We've also set it up. We can get you transported to a Moss station, and from there you can go wherever you like, or you can settle there. They might have room for you, actually.
Quick point of out of character order. Once we purge this planet of the brainworms, people can come back, right? Or are we turning it into a barren rock?
I think we're obliterating the whole thing altogether.
Oh, okay, Death Starring it. Got it.
I think we're just quarantining it, right? We're just getting the people off and then leaving it, and then set it.
Right.
Yes.
You're trying to get the people off, and you haven't even begun to figure out the source of the brainworms yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because we were on a bit of a time crunch to rescue the stranded refugees.
Yeah,
Yes. So that's its own additional mission after you deal with the people that may be dying and or opening up dangerous rifts.
Got it.
Yeah. There was some talk about trying to locate the main hive, but then there were more pressing matters. So for now, you just have to get these folks off the planet and stop them from doing the thing.
Fair?
Yeah.
The thing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is a bad thing.
The high priestess looks offended that the Baron is even entertaining the idea that these strangers would have a better solution to their problems than she does.
Especially because we casually blasphemed right in front of her.
Yes.
Some of us did.
She is very offended, and she looks at him and she says in Aquan, she basically asks him how he could doubt the proof that she is favored by Sekula. Did she not just recently summon the avatar of the god And is she not receiving instruction from the avatar of the god on how to complete this ritual? Most of you have no idea what she's talking about, but Narita, she's not really paying attention to the fact that you are. She considers you a knockoff Sahuagin and not worth her time.
Well, how dare she?
Not even considering the fact that you speak the language.
So while she's kind of in a little bit of a lather about how she's favored by the gods, Narita just sort of asks in Aquan, what's your timeline for evacuating your planet then?
And she stops, sort of mid-tirade, and looks at you.
Can help and get your planet evacuated faster? Wouldn't that be better?
This is a test, she says. You are here to test my faith.
You may feel free to stay here and wait for your ma if you'd like. That's fine, but we should probably get everyone off.
Make a persuasion check as well.
Damn it, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Ah.
Blah, 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 blah.
But whatever they're saying, I agree with Narita.
12. That's not great.
Fritz is seeing some escalating tension on the other side of the room here and has decided to start warming up the gauntlets just in case some divine intervention from this statue is necessary at some point in the near future.
Okay.
Can't have that there.
The priestess looks at the Baron as if she thinks very highly of herself, but she still has to defer to him. And he seems rather convinced that for whatever reason he seems to prefer the hasty solution.
Are we the hasty solution?
Yes, you are the hasty solution.
That's the smart solution.
Whatever the reason, he seems to be indicating that he would prefer to leave now. And ask the gods' forgiveness later.
The smart thing to do. So Narita kind of quickly tells the team, the priestess is upset that we've come to offer a solution and feels as if we are disparaging her gods and testing her faith single-handedly.
Isn't it the gods that test people's faith? Isn't that kind of their business?
Well, you tell her that.
You sort of look over. And isn't it the gods that test people's faith? Isn't that their business? If you feel that it's a test, then how you respond to that is up to you. But right now, we have a way to get you off immediately.
And
we have a way to get you off of this planet immediately.
I want to leave it like that. Like Lastness was about to point something out, and Cole was
left
like,
it.
"Oh God, no." So she's like,
There's no escape.
Nope.
Yeah. And to be perfectly frank, if your deity is asking you to tear a hole in the universe, it occurs to me that maybe the test is more about whether you value your people or not. I'm not suggesting you don't. I can tell you do. You must be if you're willing to undergo a ritual that could cost so much. But you should also know that and perhaps consider that holding off from this ritual is what your gods are really looking to you to do.
on the private channel, Lastness switches over and says, and it's like a real ego trip for somebody to be all like, "Brr, brr, 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 I'm the only one that can save the world and our people." And like, there's a solution that's like way faster and way better and way safer, like right here. Should I tell her that? I want to tell her that.
No.
Lastness, if you say that, I'm going to zap your ass from here.
Fine.
You hear a little crackle in the background. You shut up. And by the way, you just assumed that Fritz can do something. You've never actually seen any of Fritz's new gear, so.
She takes it as a given.
Yeah. Fritz does nothing to disabuse anyone of this notion.
Rita's secretly kind of got a paralyzation spell ready just in case. Asmus is not doing anything bad right now.
This team has so much faith in her.
Lots of faith that you'll get us all killed.
And the priestess looks to the Baron and says, "What will your wife say?" If you tell her that you're abandoning the faith, that you would rather trust strangers over the gods, and the Baron says, my duty is to protect my people by whatever means necessary. Even from themselves. And he gestures, and several guards, including the champion who escorted you in, surround the priestess and take her into custody.
Hey, I have no idea what they said, but I think he's in agreement with us.
I've always wanted to see a coup.
I guess Narita translates. Sorry, I forgot that was an Aquan.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is going surprisingly well.
That's a poor omen.
Yeah.
And he gives some orders and some more, and the guards go disperse to spread the word that they are evacuating.
This is an out of character question. Is the spell that the priestess would use to do all of the things to open the maw, is it a like written spell? Like she'd have to like perform a ritual or something in order to do it?
From what you overheard her saying to the Baron, she is receiving the instructions from the avatar of the god. So it's like the avatar is giving her the instructions for the ritual.
Okay.
So she can't just like suddenly cast it while she's in custody, is what you're saying. Yeah. That's what you're worried about.
She needs to be like somewhere with something in order to do it. She can't just like
at some time with some people, probably.
Right,
Yeah.
It has to be like a specific place. Okay.
And so the Baron looks to you and he says, the void crystal is in the temple.
I knew that.
You know where it is, of course. But he says, go and we must go and stop the priestesses if we are to evacuate.
Okay.
So he will accompany you because nobody's probably going to listen to you if you go by yourselves.
That's fair.
So,
and Fritz is absolutely going to be following this group rather than trying to do anything else, but still trying to stay out of sight if possible.
Okay. So he will sort of, if I can find the map to give you the correct directions, he will backtrack and you can follow him back, kind of circling back around to one of the chambers that you would have bypassed on your way to get to the throne room. But as you pass that empty room full of random sea creatures and weeds. Fritz, you notice the lobster-like creature has waited until most of the party passes and then follows you out.
Follows me out.
Yes.
But I see him following me out.
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm doing the like one eye on the party ahead of me and one eye on the lobster behind me. Seeing if the lobster thing sees me or is going to get me.
It does see you. It makes eye contact with you. And it doesn't speak per se, but you hear a voice in your mind.
Okay, we've done this before. Yeah, what's up?
Take me with you.
Sure. How big is this lobster thing in comparison to me?
It's smaller than you, but also, now that you see it up close, it's not exactly a lobster either. It looks like a larger version, like a lobster-sized version of the creature that Rekamara found in a box being smuggled.
The roach.
Yes.
Only a big one.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, but I have some mental hesitation on this, but it's like, come along. I'm going to say on the general comms, guys, if I start getting really, really weird, shoot the lobster. And they're not going to have a clue as to what I'm saying, but...
I'm right here, it says.
I know, but I have to let other people know.
It can hear the comms?
No, it can hear me!
Wait, I'm thinking at it really, really hard right now. Can he hear me?
Yes.
Come on. Let's just keep moving. See, I'm not actually too terribly worried because I do have these like electrified gauntlets on, and if it causes any trouble, I'm just going to like create lobster bisque right here, so.
Yeah, can Rekamara hear this thing?
Probably.
I don't have my spell up, so.
That depends. Fritz, how close are you to everybody else right now?
I was probably trying to stay back 30 or 40 feet.
Okay. No. Nobody else has any idea really what Fritz is talking about right now.
So the only message you heard over the comms was, guys, if I start going really crazy, shoot the lobster. And then I'm like radio silent. And then the lobster's going to talk to me, but I'm going to try really hard not to say anything in comms. I'll talk think to the lobster separately.
Well, if we can't see you, can we see the lobster?
No, probably not.
Well, good luck.
Sort of click quietly under the comms. Does suddenly ranting about random lobsters count as you're starting to act kind of weird?
Click back on the comms. No, that's my standard weird. This is a warning. If there's anything that you really think that is out of character for me, then that's when you shoot the lobster. Thanks. Click.
I feel like that's going to be a lot of work. I'm going to have to really pay attention.
The lobster real?
I think we saw it on the way in, right?
Yes, you did see a lobster on the way in.
Okay. We'll find the lobster. And we'll
And
save
shoot
you.
it.
We'll save you.
Well, the lobster says the lobster has a name, you know.
Like, you didn't exactly tell me your name, did you?
I'm sure.
You're Shurd?
Sure.
Shurn. Watch out, you might end up being Shirley at this rate. Fine, come on along. We've been picking up everybody along the way. I just have to let my partners know that,
Just
you
ride in your pack, and if things go south with those fish,
people, whatever.
yeah, those,
Yeah.
I can help you get around. I know the place.
Obviously, you got down here this far. Why are you down here anyway?
They kept me in their gladiator arena until I escaped.
Oh, interesting.
They like to have lobster fights for fun.
Lobster fights for fun. So there are more of you then?
No. Not exactly. There are more lobsters, or there were, till I beat them.
Oh, you're the champion lobster.
The Highlander lobster.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. All right, well, come on. I'm trying not to lose these guys. They're moving pretty quickly.
Watch out for the monster in the temple. It's not what it pretends to be.
Okay, what's the best way to beat it then?
Run.
Okay, other than run, what's the best way to beat it, not run away from it?
A big honking space gun.
We got one of those. Okay, thanks. Keep moving.
So the Baron escorts you back around to the temple, which is a large room with walls and floors covered in gray tiles. The ceiling is white. There are tiled pillars supporting the ceiling and running down the length of the area on either side of the center. There's an altar built against the northern wall of this chamber. Its stone base is covered in carved shark eyes that stare out in all directions. They're startlingly realistic and set with dark stones that reflect the dim blue light of the chamber. And there are glowing symbols and strange designs engraved into the walls, casting an eerie light throughout the chamber that's giving off that blue glow. And there are 3 chanting Sawagan dressed in ceremonial robes floating near the altar with their arms raised toward the ceiling, which is about 30 feet up. Carvings of shark eyes on the altar, various shapes and sizes, and there are the remains of unidentified creatures on the altar, and the blood is sort of not pooling because it's underwater, but it's sort of almost drifting upward through the water like smoke past the priestesses. There are 2 large sacks on either side of the altar that are wriggling. And there is a massive creature swimming in circles above the altar.
I don't normally normally say this about people's religions, but this is creepy.
Fritz to orbiting starship. Can you read me?
We read you, Fritz.
Can you pinpoint my location?
We can.
Hypothetically speaking, if I asked you to train guns on my location with a given delay, would you be able to fire and hit me?
Oh,
In
dear.
theory, yes.
Sounds good.
Would you like me to quote you the exact odds of making such a shot?
No, that's fine.
Ever tell me the odds?
I don't steal quotes. Yeah. Hang on to this channel. I may be asking for a rapid deployment fairly quickly. We'll try to get everybody important out of the way before you drop yourselves on us. Thanks.
Standing by.
I get back on the common channel. Okay, guys. If we need it, we've got all the support from above. And I'm talking lowercase above, not like uppercase A above. We're talking like real people, not the God. You know what I mean? Like real stuff, not religious mumbo jumbo gonna get us out of here. Thank you. Anyway.
So, can I disrupt the ritual using a spell?
You can try.
Go, Ragnarok.
Would you like to know what you are looking at?
Yes. I mean, I got the idea, but
Please give the description.
There is it's a fish-like almost like an eel-shaped creature, but it has 3 eyes down the middle of its face and a big round toothy maw and several tentacles coming off its body. And Narita, you, because you are familiar with water, you notice that the water in this area is real bad. It's foul. Not even just because of the obvious blood and guts of executed Sahuagins,
Okay.
but by this creature's presence. And it is not a 2-headed shark, as is depicted on the iconography of the altar and the murals on the walls. It's can you see this picture?
Ooh.
What's it called?
It's an aboleth.
oh fuck.
I'm not that well versed in D&D, but even I know we're screwed.
I'm just gonna turn around and go back.
Oh, that's a high challenge rating.
Yes. You have some space marines with you.
We have a big ship trained with guns trained right on us.
I really just want to disrupt the ritual.
Okay.
Just
I don't think that I need to do a whole lot. I'm just trying to think of what's the best way to do it.
Okay.
No, I can't create or destroy water. Damn.
Aren't those just his daily prepared spells? And if he takes some time, he could do the regular ones?
No.
He could do if he has ritual spells, but
That's not enough
that
time.
takes some time.
Okay.
What would you want to do with create or destroy water?
Well, I was going to try to destroy the water in that area around the altar, just to cause a big disruption in the space.
You notice that the priestesses, they, whether or not they have noticed your presence, they have continued chanting.
All right. I guess I'm going to have to get closer. So I'm going to try to get in close enough to, let's say within. I'm going to use Thunderwave, but I want to get close enough so that I can capture everything in a 15-foot cube in front of me. Try to get all of them in that space.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast Thunderwave.
All right. Are you gonna be like? Are you gonna just like catch the altar and all three priestesses, or are you gonna try to avoid the whatever is tied up in those sacks on the altar, or next to the altar? They're kind of
I want to
to one
catch.
side.
I just want to catch the priestesses.
Okay, sure. You can definitely do that because they are kind of clustered together and they are very intent on maintaining concentration on whatever it is they're doing.
Okay.
So,
As Rekmara is obviously prepping something, even if it's only momentary, back on the comms, it's like, get ready to run. If this goes down badly, I'm just going to tell him to blow it up from orbit.
okay.
So they have to roll a save versus spells.
Alrighty. What's your DC?
My DC is 14.
And is that Constitution for Thunderwave?
Yes.
Okay. It's a 10, an 11, and another 11. They all three fail.
Okay. So they're all going to get pushed back 10 feet and suffer 2d8 thunder damage. 5, 7. So that's 12 points of damage.
They are, and that is enough to disrupt their concentration.
Lasness pumps one fist in the water up and says, "Yeah, that's what I call diplomacy."
And as the chanting, when the chanting stops, the creature swoops down and swallows two of the priestesses.
Yeah.
Rekmara is just going to go, oh shit. And, and he's going to beat a hasty retreat back to the group.
And as you are retreating back toward the group, three figures in full Lakshayan armor mech suits materialize at your location, Fritz, with weapons drawn. Figured you could use some backup. Get out of here.
Good idea. You see the problem.
I see it. Go.
That's all of us, guys. Go.
And they lay down cover fire for you if you would like to retreat. Unless
Grab a bag
somebody would
on
like
the way
to
out.
grab that bag.
Lastness would like to
There's
dare.
obviously something alive in there.
Yeah, Lastness
Grab the
would
bag.
like to dare to grab the bag that's
Okay.
wriggling.
All right. So you can grab the 2 bags, and are you just gonna bring them with you, or are you gonna try to open them up on the fly?
So,
Just go.
so,
Just go.
You can
yeah,
grab
she
them.
she
and
initializes
run.
her thrusters and grabs them and bounces off the wall and then takes them out
Okay.
the room.
All right. So you are able to escape the room, and the Baron. Well, he's also going to flee because he does not want to be eaten by that thing. And Lee and her 2 lieutenants are able to take out the remaining priestess and at least hold off the monster long enough for everyone to beat a retreat.
Yeah.
And the Baron
Cole will
Well-
probably very foolishly try to hang back to back up Lee and her crew until
Okay.
she like kicks me out.
Yeah.
she is probably eventually at some point going to be like shooting toward the aboleth while like having one arm back to like shove you out behind her as you're trying to fire over her shoulder.
Yeah, I've got a plasma launcher. You know.
You could probably grapple onto her armor and shoot over her shoulder as she hauls you out.
I will. No, I will take the hint.
It depends how much you want to keep fighting.
That's true. I just mostly I'm just trying to, you know, I just was yeah,
Yes.
there to back her up.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, you can back her up and buy the party some time, and everybody gets out of the temple, and they will deal with the priestess, and then the Baron calls for the evacuation of the fortress.
Yeah.
I think I went into the wrong career.
We can't ever
Lastness
do these evacuations without it being a huge production, huh?
So that may take some time, but
You could take the roof down on the
champions- yeah.
in the hallway, like right outside the temple, like right outside the intersection.
Yeah.
Take that down.
Also, the Baron's
sounds painful.
champions will also help with the monster.
Is the goal to just hold off the monster until we can get everybody evacuated and then just leave?
Well, with enough of Sahuagin to fight it, you could probably kill it.
I just want to stay out of the room until we can nuke it from
Um,
orbit.
But I think
We came to save lives. We'll save them.
Yeah.
We saved most of them.
Should probably let whatever's out of the bag too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for the sake of brevity, we'll say that Lee and company are able to hold off the creature, and it will probably retreat, seeing as they force it to retreat, and you can evacuate the fortress. You can come back and deal with it later if you want to.
No.
Or
No.
not. You could just blow off this island and hope that takes care of it. Yeah. So once you get out and safely onto one ship or another, you probably have a few Sahuagin passengers filling up your cargo hold.
Once again.
But you're used to this. It's old hat by now. And people get up onto the cruiser as well. It will land, so people can get on there, and it's hasty, but you get everybody out, except for the priestesses, because most of them either they will have to be taken by force or they have already fallen. So then you can open up those 2 squirming sacks that Lasnis rescued from the altar. If you would like.
Yes,
Sure.
please.
Okay.
Could you put them in a tank first?
Get your blasters drawn, everybody.
Yeah, you could do that. There's probably a
just dump them into the tank.
Yeah. So you open up the sack, the sacks, and empty their contents into a tank of water. And Narita, these are each sack contains 10 hatchlings, but these don't look like Sahuagin. They look more like you.
They were sacrificing little dotted hatchlings.
That violates the Spineva Conference.
Where did they even get nautilid hatchlings?
Well, there happens to be a nautilid ship not too far from here.
Yeah, but you'd think they would know if something was missing, like hatchlings.
Would you like to ask Mako?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he might know.
We have their whole population, right? Somebody knows.
Yeah.
Except for the priestesses.
But he might be the most inclined to answer the question.
That's fair.
We'll start with him and go down the line.
How would you like to ask Mako?
I guess we could ask him if he knows any more detail about about how the priestesses or the priestess was able to get this divine knowledge and where they acquired the supplies. We keep it kind of vague at first. And just let him tell us what he knows. Gently.
They found some before we crashed. Some pirates tried to board our ship. Members of the freaking Void Princes. It's the pirate nation that has been prowling the space around Saltmaw. Void Princes tried to board our ship. Naturally, we overpowered them and we took their stuff, and the priestesses found some weird crystal on their deck wizard's person, and we didn't really know what it was for, but then we crashed, and they the priestesses, were trying to figure out how to fix the ship or get us off of that God's forsaken planet. And Thadra claimed she had a vision from the gods that she could use that shard of crystal to do something. It's not really my thing, but I don't even know how much of it was real and how much of it was that creature manipulating them.
Do you know how they got these eggs? Did they use that crystal?
The hatchlings?
Yep. Hatchlings.
No. Nobody used the crystal on them. They're born like that.
Where do they come from?
They're Malenti. They're changelings. They're just every once in a while Zawagan hatch offspring that have birth defects, and they make them like that.
Birth defects. These are nautilid hatchlings.
They're Zawagan.
No.
I think there's some DNA testing going to happen here in the future.
Narita is very slowly coming to recognize what this means. That she is the knockoff Zawagan, and it hurts.
Yeah.
We need a 46 in me. It's like 23 in me.
So she's sort of like wrestling with this idea that what she thought happened was kind of backwards.
So wait a minute. Lasness says to him, "You're telling me that your priestesses were gonna move everybody off planet with an extremely dangerous spell using the genetic remnant / defects to appease a dark lord that was circling over them that apparently ate them the minute that they screwed up, and nobody had a problem with this?"
Life.
I'm not so sure that is.
If that thing was getting in their heads, then maybe that had something to do with it.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that's what's been going on since we landed, since we crashed, and that thing came.
Have they been sacrificing more of these hatchlings before this?
Any hatchlings, pirates, the ones that survived the crash? Any of us that screwed up and didn't do what the priestesses said, or what the Baron or the Baroness wanted?
The Baroness. I'm sorry, quick out of question, character question. Did you mean the Baron or the Baroness is the issue? Or both of them?
The Baroness is the one that's all buddy-buddy with the priestesses. The Baron, he's just ambitious.
Yes, dear.
And
This turns
petty.
on the little mental connection with Shirley the lobster. And it's like, you know, I think I'm going to keep you hidden for a little while. Is that all right? I just get a feeling that if a whole lot of people know you came along on this trip, it might not be a good idea.
Fair.
Sounds fair. Okay, good. Keep a low profile then, okay?
Questions?
And
Sorry.
And Fritz is not going to let on that the lobster is like hanging out in the backpack of holding that I've been carrying around. So.
Love that name.
I have a couple of quick questions,
yes.
if I may. First off, did Lee and her team take out all of the priestesses, or are there still some of them down there?
I'm gonna say, they probably. That's a good question. They probably captured the one that was in the temple.
The one who hadn't
they
been
knew
eaten.
that the whole point was to make sure they couldn't continue the ritual, so captured her and took whatever artifacts she had in her possession.
Okay. So, is the void crystal still down there?
No, they would have brought that too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That was the important. I was like, just want to make sure that we're not going to have a giant rift in space opening behind us as we're leaving. That might be a problem.
They would have brought that.
But we're bringing the Baroness, who apparently agree with this plan, along with the Void Crystal, along with the things that would be sacrificed. I guess we don't have the actual creature, so that's probably the key.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and they're also, I think we're keeping them separate for now, hopefully. Yeah. So
we should figure out a way to very diplomatically lock up the Baroness.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Well,
it's just that I should do it.
You should do it.
Good plan.
Do we still have High Priestess Thadra in custody? Or at least
yes.
I know the Sahuagin, the
Yes.
Baron took her into custody, and I don't know if we transported her along with the others. Okay.
Yes.
All right. We might be able to kind of monitor her progress and see if she becomes, less fanatical
Delusional?
as we get further away from from Chiron. Who knows?
So, so you can either go on to the Likshay Akuma and arrest the Baroness like right now, or you can deal with it after you've gotten into orbit and nuked the blown up the island.
Nuke first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
And then deal with all that when you get back to the Maw station.
She's also a threat if that thing's not there for her to go back to, so I say...
Yeah.
Head into space.
Okay, so you get into space and Lee instructs the Akuma to fire on the fortress, and the island is destroyed. And when the island is destroyed, Narita, you sense that fouling of the water fades, and in fact it begins to alter the chemistry of the water, and you're not sure if you have an idea what might be happening, but you're not sure. You might have to send a probe down to test the water in a few days.
We can't ever leave.
What?
This is now my new home, guys.
We live here now.
Where I stay. Rita's very excited. If what's happening is what she thinks is happening.
This house is clean.
Not just clean, but perfect.
And that's where we're gonna close our episode for the week.
Very cool.
Yeah, I wonder how long I'm going to be able to hide a mind lobster.
Yeah. You can only hide a mind lobster for so long. That's what they
That
say.
know.
depends how far away you stay from the rest of the party.
Yeah. Well, I tend to hang out in the fringes of the ship anyway, so.
Yeah.
I'm now going to mention this out of character.
Yes.
Does this mean that it's no longer possible to repair the Nautilus ship that was down there?
Oh, most likely, yes.
Oh dear.
But don't worry, there's something better.
And Fritz,
Yeah.
go ahead and take another inspiration for having to make the choice to destroy the island and the Nautilus ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Fritz.
Or Fritz.
Yeah.
This must have been very difficult. Very
That
cool.
said, I have a sinking suspicion that the mega roach may have more to do with our future than we really want to think about it.
Yeah,
so.
I'm scared of what that
Probably.
thing means.
Yeah.
I'm also concerned. It's very interesting because it's like if the aboleth was, I don't know. Again, we haven't said specifically what's happening, but if the water is getting cleared out of, I mean I don't know. It's like if the water is getting, I don't know that it's necessarily it's getting cleared out of like the leeches. Then that's, or not the leeches. What is the brainworms?
Cyworms?
The cyworms.
Are the cyworms getting cleared out too?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We have
We
to
need to
come
go back
gonna
and
say
test the water in a
yes.
few days, right?
All we know is
Test the
Narita
water.
has a feeling, so
And-
that's all we know so far.
Yes.
Test the water and then test for the presence of
Right.
brainworms.
I
I'm trying
hope
to
it's yes, Ragnar.
And that creature had something to do with them being there. Just by destroying that creature, if that was having a major effect on the. I mean, if that creature
And
had
is that
enough
the
of an
only one?
effect. Well, that's the other question, yeah. But I mean, if it had that big effect on that planet's ecology.
Or that
Of-
island's ecology could have been, like
Yeah.
I said, there could be more down there.
Yeah, because they're like, what are the chances of like multiple things infecting that same planet? And I realized, hi.
I mean, you
Whole
know,
planet.
Yeah.
it had to come from
planet.
somewhere. And
Yeah.
why did it want to open a maw in the middle of the planet? That's
Some things to research next time.
yeah. Because that would have meant its own destruction, possibly, but I don't know. It's maybe
Aboleth stronger
something's
than...
happening.
And maybe it's not completely from here, you know?
He's not from around these parts.
Yeah.
I have never actually in playing D&D for however many years I've been playing it. I don't think I've ever actually encountered an aboleth. So
It's always the first time.
It's always the first time. Wow. Awesome. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna go ahead then and get to our outros, as this was very interesting. This was very interesting, and just the just how everything sort of came out here. I was curious if we were going to fight anything, just because of how things were going on, but that went surprisingly well. So I can only assume another shoe is going to drop soon.
I'm really not trying to kill the party.
That was very cool, though.
We do a good enough job on our own.
Yeah.
Some of us actively trying.
I'm just going to say right from the get-go that my favorite moment in this was just everyone's reactions to the revelation that it was an aboleth.
Yeah.
That was great. All right. Well, let's go ahead and go around and do our outros, and folks can say where, of course, as always, where to find them, and then any favorite moments and any other final thoughts you had about this session. And we shall begin once again with Alyssa.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you all for playing. My name is Alyssa. You can find me on Twitter at Origami Shuriken, and that is where you can find updates on what I have going on. And I really enjoyed, first of all, I enjoyed rewriting this module from what it was in the source material, because my party jumped the gun and got to it ahead of schedule, which is fantastic and great exercise for me as the station master. I really enjoyed kind of seeding these plot hooks for future missions and just watching it all unfold.
There's supposed to be like a room by room fight situation going on.
That is one possible way to approach the module as written, yes, but not necessarily. And I figured coming in at level 3, we were probably going to head more of a diplomacy route, and really it was just to kind of cut to the throne room and then to the big reveal of what is in the temple. So, yeah.
Yeah, very cool, very cool.
Quite well.
Awesome. All right, well, let's continue on to Mem.
Hello, I'm Mem. You can find me mostly here on Sundays, but also on Twitch, Uncertain Memory, and on Twitter, Uncertain Mem. Slowly coming back into streaming, but otherwise, favorite moment from tonight. Yeah, probably either everyone else figuring out what that the thing was an aboleth. I was like, I don't know what that is. Let me look it up real fast. But everyone else's response made me feel like I gotta find it really fast. whatever it is. Or loudness about getting us killed in front of the Baron.
That was very cool. I'm also actually now I'm curious about the whole thing with the whole evolutionary thing that's going on as well.
Yeah.
Weird,
I'm hurting inside for no reason.
I mean, it's like the two would have had to have evolved from a single. Well, anyway, it's just
Who knows, Narita? Maybe the Sahuagin are the mutated ones.
No, it's just like the Nautilid are the perfect pure ones, and they've been casting off that perfection. They had no idea.
Who knows? Nice. And now let's head over to May.
Hi, everybody. My name is May. You can find me on Twitter at Madeline, where I make very sporadic comments. I had so much fun tonight, and I always shout out my co-players. We always have a great time, and everyone's fantastic. Today, I want to shout out Alyssa Hardcore. I can see the love that she has put into this module, and it is so appreciated.
Thank you.
Good. No, this is so good. I cannot get over how good this is. I just want to reiterate that.
I'm so glad you're all enjoying it.
Awesome. And Cazimi.
I'm Cazimi. You can find me here on Sunday nights, and that's pretty much it. And people have been touching on my favorite things tonight. I think we all had similar reactions. I had a lot of the same sort of fun moments in here. I did particularly like Lousness's interpretation of diplomacy. It's always kind of interesting to see what direction that's going to take. I loved the let's just break up this party moment with Rek Murad just kind of going, yeah, no, boom. He doesn't get an opportunity that often to like throw a bomb into the middle of a ritual, and I think every opportunity he has had so far, he has done something like this. So there's a little bit of a pattern developing here, and it was just nice to see it kind of pulled off. Although I think the Aboleth kind of stole his thunder by eating 2 of his priestesses immediately afterwards, so that just kind of like took all the glory away there. I did also really appreciate Mem's like little moments of like, oh, there's something going on that's related to Aquan culture in their, Nautilid culture. There's something happening here, and the little sparks of like, oh, there's something here. There's something I have to think about. There's something connection. There's some bigger thing going on. And the fact that there might be 2 or even 3 other lines of missions and stories that could come from Narita's Nautilid stuff out of this is great. I'm really looking forward to seeing where those go too.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be really cool. This is really cool. Mm-hmm. And finally, over to Anino.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. Let's see, coming up for me, I'll be over at Wandering Games channel tomorrow for an exciting game of Leaf and Ruins. I think that's what it's called. So tune in for that at 8 p.m. Had a great time tonight. I was always wondering whether or not I would be able to cast Thunderwave safely. And I was a little worried about that Aboleth there because I ran into one once in a Baldur's Gate, and it was not good. No, they're psionic fish. Anyway, yeah, so it was great. I liked trying to instigate a fight between the champion and Lasness.
He just wanted to fight you.
That was great.
Yes, no, it was a great time. I missed this last week, so it's great to get back into the flow of things.
Yeah, I'm very glad we were able to come back to this. It's sadly last weekend I was sick, so I couldn't do it. But I really appreciate that we sort of stepped right back into it. And it's also cool still to see even things continue to develop as far as party dynamics go. That are very interesting. I really liked seeing I liked seeing Fritz actually being stealthy. That was interesting because we haven't seen a lot of that, but that was cool. And then just I think we're starting to develop this thing where it's like with when dealing with people diplomatically that it's like Lasness is nice to them, and then if that fails, Cole basically threatens them.
And then Marita steps in and is the calm voice of like, okay, we've got both ends. Now let's talk about what we really need to do.
Here's what's actually happening. That's so cool. That's great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I'm really looking forward to what happens next. This is very cool. All right. Well, folks, that leaves me. I'm Jim. This is my channel. And also, just before I go into my spiel, as just a reminder, as always, thanks again to Jade Nebula for the art. Always cool having the character art. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. On this channel on Tuesday afternoons, we are continuing our short campaign of Alas Vegas, which is a strange sort of surreal trip through a hellish version of Vegas that uses tarot cards as its resolution and rotating GMs or dealers, written by James Wallace, who is the guy behind the Baron Munchausen game. So that's been a lot of fun. On Tuesday nights, we have, for this month, our mini campaign of Monster of the Week that I've been running. Very much looking forward to them getting into even more trouble than they're already in. On Wednesday nights, we're trying to get back to doing our Masks campaign run by guest GM Mole Thulu. We've had some real-life stuff coming in, sort of interfering with that, and hopefully we'll be getting back to that soon. On Thursday nights, we've just started our new mini campaign of The Sprawl, as a powered by the Apocalypse cyberpunk game, run by our guest GM Browne. I'm really looking forward to it. Basically, I'm playing a very, very kind person who kills people a lot. So it's going to, I really want to get into that. I
facilitate.
Yes. It's great. It's great having an enabler. So things like that. On Saturday nights, we have our regular Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. Everyone's on a train right now. And we ended, strangely enough, with a sort of a Wizard of Oz scenario that suddenly happened. But, these things happen. On Sunday, back around to Sundays, in the afternoons, we have one-shots. The one-shot that is coming up this Sunday will be Futurity. We're going to take another stab at that. I wasn't able to do it last weekend again because I was sick. So we pushed it back a couple of weeks. We're going to do that. That's a GM-less game about oracles, where we're enacting prophecies, and that's written by Summer from Off the Table, and so we're going to be playing that. Then finally, of course, back around to Sunday night, more of this. And so we get to, once again, see the fate of the fish folk and what else happens as we continue to peel back the layers of this story onion, which is a glorious, glorious thing. Sign-ups right now are open for next month's mini-campaign, which is going to be Call of Cthulhu. I'm actually going, for the first time, to take a stab at running the Call of Cthulhu. I've run other games like it, but never the actual Call of Cthulhu game. So we're going to give it a shot next month. Sign-ups are open for that until the 29th of April, so Wednesday the 29th, week from Wednesday. So if you want to sign up for something, you go down below to RPG Sign Up, or go to jimyesthatjim.com and click on Game Sign Up. As always, beginners are welcome. So when we hit the end card, we are going to send a raid over to Penny for a Tale, as they're running their Pathfinder 2nd edition campaign, Age of Ashes. We're going to go over there and say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you so desire and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will see you next week. Farewell.